Howdy everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Milsurp HQ. That's right, we're doing another inspection and disassembly. This is a rifle I've actually had for a while and I haven't fully taken it down, so I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to inspect and take apart a Japanese Type 38 long rifle. And also clear up a few misconceptions and give you a couple tips and tricks for identifying certain pieces while we go through the whole rifle. But just to kind of show you all overall, this is what it looks like. We have our nice dust cover there, long rear sights, handguard that only goes part of the way forward, like so. And we have a simple front sight. I'll get to that later. As usual, we'll just kind of start from the back and work our way there. First misconception we're going to clear up is this line right here, that crack, right? No, that is not a crack. On Japanese rifles, all their stocks are two-piece stocks. Almost all of their stocks, not quite all of them, but they're two pieces. So this right here is one piece of wood, and this is another piece of wood. You can see this line separating them. That's just where they were joined with a kind of like dovetail splice or something like that. And they were also glued. And just over time, through heat cycles and getting wet and whatnot, they tend to just separate a little bit, which isn't a big deal. The dovetail is still joining them. They're still held together very strongly. It's a good, strong design, and Japan did that because they didn't have the best supply of wood, so they didn't have like nice big long pieces to make these stocks that were like long and wide, so they had to make do with what they had and make it have two separate pieces. What that helps stop the spread of cracks and enable them to have fairly strong stocks. Looking at the butt plate, we don't really have anything special. Not a whole lot of rust or anything, and you can see this one has probably been sanded. You can kind of tell that just because it's not quite flush with the butt plate, though there is some wear on here, usually from just like over time, but you can see it doesn't quite line up right there. And you can see this little stamp is worn away, some of the marks are worn away, and there's not nearly as many dings and dents as we would expect in this stock. It doesn't look terrible, I'm not too upset with that, but you can definitely feel it's pretty smooth, so it's been sanded. A little bit of water damage or oil damage right there, nothing, no big deal. And if you'll notice the stamp, that stamp means something, but it's in Japanese. I don't read Japanese. But usually when you see that, that indicates that this is a school rifle. Now, misconception number one, school rifles and training rifles are two different things. They are not the same. A training rifle is a purpose-built gun made out of like pot metal and doesn't have rifling, doesn't have locking lugs. It was only ever intended to shoot blanks. School rifles are legitimate military Type 38s that can shoot full power, full bore loads, have rifling, or just the standard issue rifles that were taken out of service and sent to schools for training once they got past the trainer rifles. So they are perfectly serviceable Type 38s. They just didn't see use during the latter half of World War II, at least. And a few ways you can tell that is, one, that stamp right there. Two, there will often be a 0 or 00 in front of the serial number. So this one is a 1.4 million serial number. You can see 14995, etc. But there's a 00 right there in front of the serial number. And third way you can tell is up on the mum. They won't have a scrubbed mum. They will have a mum with a stamp on top of it. Sometimes you'll see like circles around the edge, or this one has kind of a little stamp there on top. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Nope, not quite. But there's just a stamp on top of the mum, but the mum is not scrubbed. But those are the three ways you can tell a school rifle over a regular Type 38, and definitely a training rifle. All right. Working our way forward, the Japanese always put these wrist reinforcements, so we know we don't have any cracks or splits here. Love that feature. I don't think I've ever seen a cracked wrist on a Type 38 or Type 99. You can see here, no cracks there either. Perfectly in good condition, no cracks around the tang. You can see this is a bit proud of the wood, so yeah, again, probably been sanded a little bit. Go ahead and take out our bolt. On the receiver, nothing special. Nice blue color still on the receiver. A little inspector stamp there and there. A little bit of wear from the dust cover, but that's typical. That's not uncommon to see that. Then you have right here, type 38. Yep, type 38. Japanese type 38. You can also tell type 38 versus type 99. You got 2 holes right here. Type 99, you have 1 hole. And we got our serial number. This one is a Koshikawa, which they made the first run of like 2 million or so. This one's in the right around 1.5 million, which puts it right at the tail end of World War I, like 1917, 1918-ish. And magazine follower. Spring works good. If we want to take it out, there's this button right here. Just push that. Pops right out. So easy to do. Thank you, Mr. Nambu. And trigger feels good. Nothing wrong with that. Lift up our rear sight. Numbers we have. Whoops. Let's see here. See if I can get this angle right. So you can see right there. Bump the camera for you. Focus, damn you. Anyway, there's a number 772. And that does not match the serial number, but I'll get to that in a moment. Then we have a 90 right there and a 060 or something. That might be like a marking or adjustment for when it was sighted in or something like that. All right. Got our nice full-length handguard. Barrel band looking good there. A little kind of copperish color or something on it. I'm not sure what's up with that. Rest of our 4-stock. A few dings and dents. Nothing wrong with that. Good gouge there. I kind of like the look of it. It means it's saw service. Well, look. Another 772. How about that? Then cleaning rod is locked in. We have our old style front sight. So you'll notice that so far this number and the rear sight number are 772, so they match. But they do not match our serial, which ends in 369. So that is another difference between type 99s and type 38s. The rest of the parts, except for the receiver, are numbered with an assembly number. Well, the assembly number is on the bottom of the receiver, but you can't see that right now. So everything else except the serial is an assembly number. So they will not match the serial. So people will get a gun that has different numbers and think it's not matching. They're like, oh, well, it's not matching. But it could be actually. They're looking at the wrong number. So what we're going to do, you can't see the assembly number on the receiver from the outside, so it's under here. So we got to take this thing out of the stock and take a look at it, see if it's matching or not. But first, let's take a look at our bolt and cool sliding dust cover. I love these things. They're really neat looking and they work great. Dust cover, first thing, you can tell this is not a repro just because of like the nice even finish wear on both sides of it. This is brazed in, it's not welded in. There's a little bit of brass in there you can see. The sides of this are folded all the way over. Repros kind of stick out a little bit. And repros do not have a number on the back. This one's number is 496, I believe. Yep, 496. So this one does not match the rifle or the assembly number of the other one. So this one of these pieces isn't matching, but we'll find out which one's which. Same story for the bolt. This bolt's number is 569. Does not match any of the other numbers. You can see this one's kind of dirty. I've actually been shooting this one. That's okay. And if you want to learn how to disassemble a Type 38 bolt, here you go. Push in, twist, done. Now your bolt is disassembled. Literally the easiest thing in the world to disassemble a Type 38 or Type 99 bolt. If you want to take off the extractor, you can. Just kind of twist it and push this thing to kind of push that up, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. This is, got number on the extractor. Also 569. Really wish I would focus, but that's okay. So far the bolt matches itself, and here we go. Right there is a number. also 569. So the bolt is at least matching itself so far. And there should be one on the firing pin somewhere. Maybe not. I thought there was. There's your firing pin spring. I guess not. I thought these should have a serial number. They do on Type 99s at least. But bolt matches itself, so that's always a good thing. Alright, we'll take out our cleaning rod to do that. You just push this in, and it pulls right out. Also, let's see, yep, we can tell this is not a reproduction. Reproductions always have like nice new bluing, and they don't quite lock in the same as new ones. I'll have to do a video on that as well. But yep, this is an original Type 38 cleaning rod. I don't see any numbers on it. I don't think they numbered these. But you can see nice finish wear all along it. Yep, alright. Right here, got our nice gunsmithing tools in front of us. And to get the front barrel band, you actually do the same thing. Just like the Swede Type 38, just press that down more. That slides right off. There's our number. Then for the front barrel band, kind of similar story. You have our spring right here. Just push that down. You can slide your front barrel band off. And with that, you can lift your rear sight and take your handguard off. Lift it a little bit forward and up. And we can see here, this is confirming my theory. Look at that, another 772. So this matches that, which matches that. So far, we have 3 matching parts. I like where this is headed. And next step is the usual. Undo our 2 screws right here and right here. So once again, we will pick a screwdriver bit that most closely matches our screw. This one's pretty thick. I can go a little bit wider than that. I think that should do it. Yeah, that's a good fit. Hold it in place. Oop, that one's already loose. Apparently I need to tighten these. And screw number 1. And screw number 2. Oop, I almost forgot. There's a 3rd screw on top. So screw number 2. Let me flip her over. And if you want to take it more apart, if you want to get this trigger guard off, there's a 3rd screw up here on top, which I might do that here in a moment. But let's take a look at it first. Oh, almost forgot. Looky there. 772. Matching part number 4. Out of the way. Now, don't lose this guy. This is part of the front handguard, kind of like retainer or like leveler or something like that. That goes under the handguard like that on the gun itself. Don't lose it. Now let's take a look at it. We have a little bit of rust here under the handguard. Nothing bad at all. I will clean right up with a little bit of oil and brass wool or steel wool. Under the handguard here, it looks really nice. Look at that, and it's like shiny bluing, almost a mint condition. Nothing wrong with the rear sight. Just a tiny little bit of rust up here on the receiver and barrel. And looking good so far. Got a nice little metal inspection mark right there. And let's flip her over, and looky there, 772. So this rifle is a bolt mismatch. So the bolt does not match, but every other part so far does. So that's cool. And where else do we find a assembly number? I think there's usually one somewhere in the trigger. I'm not seeing one. I might be wrong on that. Where's it on the sear? I don't see one. That's okay. But you can see we got just a smattering of inspector markings on there. Got your 772 right there. Yeah, just a group of inspection markings. Stamp, 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 stamp. I always like to do that. But under here it looks pretty clean. I don't see much rust except for this little bit on the top of the barrel. And that's not a big deal. It's actually after the handguard. You can see the transition there. But yeah, this thing is pretty clean overall. And I know it shoots well because I have shot it, and the bore is in pretty good shape. Not immaculate or anything, but I mean, it's a Milsurp rifle. It doesn't have perfect accuracy in the first place. You can see, got a nice undamaged crown. No other real markings up here. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our trigger guard off, see if there's a matching number under there. Nice even pressure at first. And it looks like it's not unscrewing, but it is, because the bottom is coming out. And you can see this kind of dropped down. And it should be free. Just take a little bit of prying to get it out. It's kind of in there. Come on. Don't really want to use a tool to get it out. We're just kind of push it back and forth a little bit. Doing that sometimes kind of loosens it up. Come on. But while we're at it, we can take our, it's not fully unscrewed. There we go. There's our rear screw, and we have a separate bottom tang piece that goes right here. Nice tang reinforcement. Thank you, Japan, for that. Take our magazine box out, and there's this number I was looking for, 772. This is the, yep, all these parts match except the bolt, which obviously it's an important part, but I'm glad the rest of the parts match at least. Very nice. And is there anything on the bottom of our follower? Nope, there's nothing. No marks whatsoever. That's okay. And how about our magazine floor plate? Yeah, you can see, oh, that's a 237, so this is mismatched. Dang, almost a bolt mismatch rifle. Interesting kind of copper color on there. Might be a replacement piece or something. And nothing on our spring. But almost all matching parts, obviously except for the bolt and floor plate. And then this guy is actually a separate piece as well. There you go. Our top tang reinforcement. No numbers on that, just a few little tiny inspector markings. And then take a look at the underside of the stock. Just a tiny bit of like grease and a little bit of dirt, nothing much. It's actually in rather nice shape. Under the wood, you can see the original, like, kind of deep red color in there of the original Japanese finish versus the outside, kind of lighter brown. Definitely got sanded here on the outside, but that's not too bad, especially for the price I paid for this thing. I got things damn near free for the most part. And it's a great shooter. A little bit of schmutz on here on the underside, a couple of inspector's markings there. And I don't really see much else. Nice big old recoil bolt there and there. Nicely cut out. This has been in good shape. I don't see any cracks anywhere on this stock whatsoever. Sometimes you'll find like a little crack right here, or like a crack right there on the draws, crack right there, but nope, nothing on this guy. And I can go ahead and take off our butt plate. Looks like it should be, yeah, it should come undone fairly easily. Just to see if there's anything under there for fun. Interesting, that's a brass screw. I don't know if that's correct. I doubt it. Nice steady even pressure. Oop, let's not pry our butt plate. I don't I don't often take off the butt plates in my rifles. I should more often. Sometimes you find interesting stuff under there. That's it, comes right off. And kind of rusty under here. I'm gonna clean this up for sure. Definitely should have taken this one off first, or sooner. But no markings or anything. And anything under here? Nope. You can see that big old dovetail piece in there. That's a really good example of it. And yeah, just a little bit of separation, but I mean, with that dovetail, it's not going anywhere. I'm not worried about that at all. Tiny little crack right there. Yeah, you can have some hidden cracks under the butt plate, so that'll be good to address. And then you got, I forgot to mention 107 right there. I guess this was school rifle 107. I don't know where it went. Maybe I could somehow translate that, but it's kind of hard to read. All right. I think that pretty much covers this guy. Nice, good, honest example of a Type 38. It makes a great shooter, looks good on the wall. And this one has like the World War I early features. Later they had like an updated sight with like front wing protectors. It looks a little different. And those start around the 2 million serial range, I believe. All right, well, thank you all for joining me for another quick disassembly and inspection. You can see I finally got some better lighting in here, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just need my camera to focus, but I'll work on that later. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. Please let me know, and feel free to tell me any information I got wrong or I don't know, because I'm not an expert on these, but I do know a thing or two to be dangerous. But yeah, let me know what y'all want to see next. Me and Tom have a good amount of rifles we can take apart and inspect and kind of show you what to look for whenever you're either out buying one at a gun show or at a gun store in person, or got like pictures online to look for. There's a lot of good tips and tricks to like show you, like make sure you don't get bit on like what's a good rifle versus like a bad rifle. All right, have a good one.